In the recent years, there is a kind of misunderstanding between science and between what that is not science. Science is explained by means of so-called physical laws by which a phenomena could be explained. For example, physics. Physics is the study of nature. Physics explains the study of accurate measurements. A physical phenomena can be explained by a universal law. So all this understanding of nature by man by means of science forms a part of physics, a part of chemistry, a part of biology, medicine, engineering, and so on and so on. So this is always like a stream of water flowing on, but there is also parallelly another stream of water flowing in a canal like which is something which is not science, or something which could not be explained by science. But in general, everything which is experienced by man is taken as a part of science, and another part which is not science, and so on. So just because certain facts are very nicely explained by science, for example, the law of gravity, for example, the laws of energy, conservation of energy, like energy can be neither created nor destroyed, but it can be transformed from one form into another, and so on. So when the understanding of man comes to a point of controversies, the controversies of experiences that which could be explained by science, and certain experiences for sure which cannot be explained by science. If one wants to investigate this controversy philosophically, one should investigate the experience itself. So what is this experience? I am seeing a beautiful flower, a beautiful rose flower in a garden. So this is an experience. It creates a kind of impression in my mind. So there is a rose flower, and that is an object, and I am the subject. I am the one who experiences the object, and the process between the subject and the object is the experience. So there is an experiment, there is an experiencer, and the process in between is an experience. It is important to distinguish what is an object and what is the subject, and what is the interrelation between this subject and the object, and the process of the interrelation through the experiences. So whether this experience is a continuous one, or whether it is a discrete one, or whether it is in the form of quanta, packets of experiences, one experience as a quanta, other experience as another quanta, like in a quantum physics. So whether it's a stream of the quantas forming different experiences one after the other, whether this whole experience could be explained by one packet of an experience. So all these questions arises in our mind. So to further investigate this, when can one experience? Can a dead man experience? We don't know whether he experiences or not, but for sure he cannot communicate his experience. But a living man, like what I told now, I can communicate with you through a language which also gives you a kind of impression in your mental images. So it means that an experience stands valid only when it could be communicated. Well, if it is communicated to another person, how that the other person could also experience the same kind of impression. So here comes the concept of mind. The concept of mind is very important, because there can be no experience without the existence of mind. So if one wants to experience, there should be a mind, and there should be a kind of impression created in the process of experience to a person and to his mind, and creating an impression in his mind stands as a record of experiences one after the other. And when I communicate to another person, he also has more or less the similar kind of impression in his mind. So we are now going further, step by step, investigating what makes this experience and how this experience creates a kind of impression in your mind. So to further investigate, we should understand what is mind. All the experiences, either scientific or either non-scientific, religious, poetic, all the experiences in this world has been only possible by the subject, that is the human being. And in this subject, the impressions of the experiences to the mind, and these impressions to my mind communicated to other person, and to his mind an impression, and so on and so on. I may not divert from the topic of experience and mind, but it is also important to know that, or to have a question that whether these impressions in all the persons who are communicated about this experience are also having the absolute experience as what I had. So this is also not true, that the kind of the beautiful rose flower which I saw in the garden, and the impression which I had about the beauty of the flower in my mind may not be the same kind of impression the other person whom to I communicate about the beauty of the rose flower which I saw in the garden. The experience of the beauty of the rose flower which I saw in the garden, and which I communicate to the other person, and the other person may not have the same kind of impression what I had. So it means that no two experiences are the same.